called the Tattiebogle.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Hey, everybody. Happy Saturday morning. It's Memorial Day weekend.
Already.
Yeah, and we are out
The
in
unofficial start to summer.
The what?
Unofficial start to summer.
Right.
Did you know that? Yeah.
And we are out near Seven Springs in the Acme area. And
But I thought we were in Donegal.
yeah, it's actually Acme.
Okay.
But it's the Donegal exit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Right. So
See, you learned something.
and we are at Tattiebogle CiderWorks, and this is our second time being here. And you don't need to hear us talk anymore, but we have some great guests coming up this week. But in the meantime, as you know, we start every Saturday morning with a song. And Samantha, tell us just a little bit about, in case somebody has to go do breakfast while you're playing or whatever, where do they find you online?
So you can find me on Instagram. It's at SinginSam, SinginSam, with a little bit of stank on the singing. And then on Facebook.
Drop the G.
Yeah, drop the G. And then on Facebook, it's at Samantha Press Music. So you can find my music page. You can follow me personally if you want to be friends. I might not follow you back, but I may.
I love
you
her.
never know.
I love her. All right.
This is what we need. All right, so sit down, get your coffee, get your toast, get your eggs, and here's Samantha.
Elijah was my mama's daddy's name, but we never did meet. She used to say he carved it in a sapling shagbark tree. But once it started shagging out and growing nice and full, it covered up the mark he made, so instead he left it to you. I haven't heard that name in years, but mine's on marquees now. And I understand it's a matter of time till it comes down. So I go around handing stories out, adorning cadence and rhyme, and hope that I never forget that name is more than mine. And the sun keeps rising out of the ground through the week-old wine and shine that put it down. If it weren't for my word, I'd have nothing to keep. But I've been running this hallowed ground on a fool's errand for a lifetime now, trying hard to stay on my feet. She said he was a carpenter, meticulous and kind, treasuring the finest parts of life in the toughest times. He'd work his fingers till they bled to help anyone down and out, all the while teaching mama what a living was all about. And the sun keeps rising out of the ground through the week-old wine and shine that put it down. If it weren't for my word, I'd have nothing to keep. But I've been running this hallowed ground on a fool's errand for a lifetime now, trying hard to stay on my feet. Elijah's not a pretty name, it means something to me. Connected to this curse of mine, I'll hold it to my heart's last beat. Missteps and regrets are just attacks on being free. So if I die with any pride, lay me beneath the shagbark tree. And the sun keeps rising out of the ground through the week-old wine and shine that I put down. If it weren't for my word, I'd have nothing to keep. I've been running this hallowed ground on a fool's errand for a lifetime now, trying hard to stay on my feet.
Well, we're speechless. huh?
No words, right? But I, of course, heard her sing before because I was looking her up, and I was like, oh, another time John's going to be super
This is
excited.
an old whitetail kind of story right
Yes,
here.
I can't wait to talk
All
to
right.
you.
So
Thanks.
Samantha will be back later in our podcast. In the meantime, we're going to get the podcast started with Kurt,
Wow, that's
right?
awesome.
And we're going to
Thank you
switch
so
sides
much.
here.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding? Oh, my
So
God.
as you know, this is behind the scenes. Do we have a microphone
I
there
didn't
for
care
Kurt?
if you did. Oh, did I?
There
Yeah,
we go.
this was yours. Sorry. This is the longest one, so the wind will probably blow it, right?
That's all right.
Colin will help with technical.
I'm not a qualified prop master, so.
You're fine. Neither am I. I'm the worst. I just write scripts.
All right.
That's about
So,
it.
yeah, ready to read the ad.
Oh, yeah. Are you reading also?
I don't know. All right. So this is how we start the podcast officially. The words, the make, the model, fuel type, features, and more have a lot in common. They're all a la carte selections that help customers choose HRVs, CRVs, Odysseys, and more on
Our RoricHonda.com website, which helps customize your future purchase. Stop by the Bloomfield location to talk to a representative so that Rorick can welcome you to the family. And as always, visit Rorick.com for all of your vehicle needs.
Say that one more time.
As always, visit Rorick.com for all of your vehicle needs. And now we start the Jagoff podcast from, are you
The
talking?
Tattiebogle Cidery in Acme, PA.
Say it right. What are we saying wrong?
Tattiebogle CiderWorks.
Works.
CiderWorks.
Read the sign,
there you
Jagoff.
go. All right. So this is the Jagoff podcast, and when you listen to the edited version, you'll hear our little music and everybody calling each other Jagoffs. But for
Or
the
just me to you?
Right. If you're listening for the very first time, we ask that you subscribe to the podcast because we're kind of in a new place, which we'll talk about later in the podcast. But we ask that you subscribe. If you're listening to it on iTunes, we ask that you kind of make a comment because that helps us
Only if
over
it's
on the
nice.
iTunes.
Be kind to people. Yeah.
Right.
If you have something that you want to improve, by all means, let us know. But don't say nasty things.
Right.
That's all.
So this is where we talk about what was on the blog this week, and we're going to kind of forego that
Okay.
because we have a big announcement to make, right?
Okay, yeah.
And the announcement has been in the Post-Gazette as of yesterday, and, well, here's the deal. We have a new home.
We left where we were on the radio, and we are now at Q92.9, and we are on Monday through Friday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Jagoff on Q. That's the name. Pretty
Right.
cool. It's pretty cool to say. We have to learn for it to roll off of our tongues.
Right. And we also have to learn to shut up because we
have to learn how to be on the radio, yeah.
They told us that this is not a podcast. You can only get 4 minutes every time to talk. There will be songs.
Yeah.
And
So now you're going to get used to hearing us talk in 4-minute increments. So we're going to talk even faster than we did before, so we can
Right.
practice and figure
But the
this
good
out.
news is the podcast will continue. This will just be an extension of the podcast. It will not be the same as the podcast, but it'll just kind of all be synergy, right?
Right.
Is that a good word?
Yeah, it's a great word.
Good
And we want to
corporate
hear
word.
from you because, as you know, it's so important that we tell Pittsburgh stories. So we want to hear those stories. And not just Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh and beyond. Like today, we're hearing we took the Donegal exit, I found out.
Right.
Because you know me.
Imagine that,
if I'm
Tattiebogle Donegal.
if I'm out of Ross Township, Kurt, I'm lost. So there
Tunnel
you
So-
go.
Monster did not get you.
So
It did not. You're right.
Kurt Henry, owner, creator of
Well,
Tattiebogle?
It's a partnership. My brothers and I and Laura, who's Bruce's wife,
Okay.
runs a tasting room, basically.
Okay. We were out here when
So
this
crazy.
was. We were out
Yeah.
here. Get ready for this. BR, which doesn't typically on a podcast means before Rachel,
Yeah,
but
it was like-
this was before restrooms because they now have.
Yeah, it was, literally.
We literally went next door to use the restroom.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
Into the farmhouse.
Well, and we were saying we were, obviously podcasting from a different location. We had different people. Times were different. But it was such the beginning that it was awesome to walk in here and see it as is. But as I said to you, that since we've been here, we've heard so many different people talk about it. I was at a graduation party last year, and someone had one of your T-shirts on, and it
Oh,
was
nice.
so cool to
Yeah,
see that.
yeah.
Just
Yeah.
kind of, and they were like, "Oh, we love it." And what that tells me is that Western Pennsylvania people are not afraid to travel a little bit. It's only
No,
like what,
no.
45 minutes?
45 minutes, yeah. On, if you're in the North or South Hills, 45. If you're like right downtown in traffic, maybe a little bit more.
Sure.
But it's easily doable, and actually a lot of people make a weekend out of it because there are lots of craft beverage places and lots of really good local food.
Yeah.
A lot of, like farm to table type stuff.
And we talked a little bit about that last time, and we had a gentleman from the Laurel Highlands Bureau,
Visitors
Bureau
Bureau,
on,
yeah.
and he did a great job of
Yeah.
explaining what you should be doing and the thing, kind of tackling the to-do list. But what is a common day at this point? Because you've now done this for over a year in some. What are you seeing? Kind of people saying, the regulars. What are they saying? Like, I went here and then I came here.
I'm not sure I understand that question.
What's the usual routine of one of your regulars?
Oh, well, people are brand agnostic now.
Yes.
Back in my day, the first beer that your father had you drink was what you were to drink till you were like,
That's a good point.
85 years old.
Yes.
Now, it's like,
And it was Schlitz or something, right?
Exactly, hams or Schlitz
Yeah.
or something,
Yeah.
breakfast of champions
Right.
type stuff. So now, like, I had this last Friday. That's old news. What do you have
Okay.
new? So, and it's sort of the same thing. Stay time, like people come in, they'll maybe have a bite to eat, listen to some music, have a few ciders, and then they may go down the road to Unity or to Helltown. Bellaterra Winery, Stone Villa is a quarter of a mile. So it's
Wow.
not the stay in one place kind of thing anymore. People kind of rove around and get the best. Like if there's a band one place, but they like the food truck another place, because there's this cool little ecosystem between the three.
Right.
As much as my ego would love to say that they come for the cider,
They do.
let's use synergy again.
Yeah.
It's us, it's the food, it's the music. That 1 + 1 + 1 is equal 5, not
Sure.
3.
Sure.
And we're all better for it.
So really, you answered my second question, which was, the first one was, what does a regular do, a
Yeah.
townie do? But then if someone is from out of town, it's basically the same thing.
Same thing
you're
because they're not
seeing-
out here.
Yeah.
And they want to try, the Pour Tour that Jared
Yes.
talked about.
Yep.
Within this area, you can almost get enough to get your first prize. You go from place to place, you buy a drink, they give you a little
Right.
thing to go in a sticker to go in your passport, and after 8, you get a prize from the Visitors Bureau. So
Such a good idea.
yeah, it's
And what a great way to create that ecosystem.
exactly
Right? The
yeah.
networking ability, yeah.
Yeah, and it gives musicians an ability to earn a living without
Yes.
having an alternate lifestyle of starting work at 9 and being finished at 3 a.m.
Sure.
So much more conducive if you want to have a family and kids as a musician.
That's a good point.
And still pay the bills.
Right.
Because you're home, by dinner time and tuck the kids in bed and stuff.
That's a good point.
Kurt, take us back a little bit, because I know you like history and you kind of like delve into things deeply before you get
Yeah.
into
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just take us back to the beginning of cider. Is cider something that came over from Scotland, Europe, or did it start here because we had pear trees? Tell us a little bit about the history of cider.
So cider is apple-based fermented apple juice. So
Okay.
the strongholds in Europe are England, France, and Spain, and they all have very different cider cultures, but very strong and unique. So cider actually came over with the Mayflower, and it's a really long story, but if you want to look it up, it's the tale of the iron screw, and the Mayflower wouldn't have made it over here if it weren't for a cider press that they had on board. Because they were
about
like
that?
the original preppers. They didn't know what the water would be like here. They knew in Europe that, if you drank water, you got sick, but if you drank beer or cider, they didn't know why, but you'd be okay. So even babies, as soon as they were weaned from their mothers, drank cider.
How about that?
Like fussy babies weren't an issue back in the day.
Yeah, and you're not saying give babies alcohol, Kurt.
No, absolutely not. 21 years
Right.
of age or older, but it did happen in the past.
Sure.
The current
no,
trend, though, is
absolutely.
to just give them Tylenol cold.
Yeah.
Or
But
whatever.
there's no formula now, so
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
the rules
God.
might be
Please.
Rules, right. So,
Change.
yeah, because I wasn't sure if it was like the nectar of the gods, the nectar of the kings and stuff
So
like that. because-
it actually probably first appears in history at around 1200 AD.
know that.
Apples are, well, it's one of the things I researched.
Yeah, I guess you had
But
to.
apples originally came from one tree in Kazakhstan, so they were not native to Europe. So the Silk Road is what brought apples to Europe. Back
We learned
then.
that at Sorgles. Remember
right,
about the
right.
apple stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's pretty
Then-
cool.
Now, you were a guy that made beer. For those who haven't heard the original
Yeah,
podcast,
yeah.
you were a guy that made beer. What turned you on to cider? Was it an opening in the market, or you just became a cider fan?
Well, it's a combination. I've pretty much fermented everything that you can legally. I like to do even vegetables, pickles, sauerkraut, kimchi, that kind of stuff. To me, it's sort of like alchemy. You start with one thing, and it's something that's totally different by the end. I'm still working on that lead to gold thing, but that hasn't happened yet. So
I'm not even a fermenter, and I am too.
I did see that there weren't any cideries in the Laurel Highlands, which is kind of the playground of Western Pennsylvania. So the history of cider in Pennsylvania is very strong too. Pennsylvania was actually like the alcohol colony back in the day.
Right.
And it was responsible for the whiskey rebellion. So they kind of made everything here in Pennsylvania. So I like tying the history to the product, and we're the only one in the 3 counties of the Laurel Highlands. And then if you go east, I don't think there's anything to Lancaster. North, there's one up in Cambria County, and there's Arsenal and another one or two, like Allegheny and whatever's north of Allegheny County. Like
What's north of Allegheny?
Butler.
Okay.
Butler's north.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
so it'd be
It
Butler.
is.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So my question is, I thought I was really a know-it-all when I walked in, and I said, "Oh, because you have 6 ciders or 5 standards," and you said we have 11 ciders.
Right. So you're really close on the
Okay.
5 standards.
Yeah, talk to me
So-
about the difference for someone who doesn't know.
All right. So
I got it.
we got
Thank you.
things flying around. Hopefully, a barn swallow doesn't fly in here. They're known to do that.
Oh wow.
So I don't know if people can see the menu board in the background, but we have a category called high standard. So we make those and sell those all year long, and they range from 100% dry to semi-sweet. All my ciders are fermented to dry, so there's no sugar, no residual sugar, so no fats, proteins, carbohydrates. All the calories come from alcohol. So bang for your buck. You're not wasting calories.
So if you're on
on
keto,
things.
if you're on
keto, diabetic,
whatever.
gluten-free.
I love it.
It's
Drink
the
up.
alternative drink for folks like
Yeah.
that. So I got hijacked there, but the high standards, those 5 we have all year. 'Tis the season, we have 5 there, and those rotate every 3 months with what's available, like fruit and spice-wise, what's in season, because I like to use all seasonal fresh stuff. And then under Kilderkin, that's sort of like my sandbox, my playground, where I just make up flavors and
I love
throw them
that.
against the wall and see if they stick. So
you're the taste tester of it.
well, I got lots of volunteer taste testers.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And then, we have people give us a thumbs up or thumbs down when they're here
Okay.
on them. And at the end, we sort of tally those up and decide, if you want to look at a baseball analogy, Kilderkin is AA, 'Tis the Season's AAA, and high standards are the majors,
Okay.
except for the Pirates.
We hear that on every, I swear, somehow somebody gets it on every podcast.
Yeah. So if you're really, really good, you can go like Pear Snaster went straight from a Kilderkin to what we make it, and it's actually probably it's in the top 3 of our best-selling ciders.
How about that?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
a good question, Rach.
Thanks, John. Well, I just did some research. That's why. Yeah.
So you actually make the cider here. Now, can that be a process? Like some wine places let you come and kind of squash grapes and things like that. Can people come and participate in the process, or that's kind of like a closed area?
Well, you're sitting in the area.
Yeah.
I mean, across the street here is our tanks. So,
Right.
it's we buy our juice right now, so
Okay.
there's no squishing of apples involved.
Okay.
But we did plant an orchard here on the farm, and we have 53 varieties of pre-prohibition
Wow.
cider apple trees, and they're not like names that you would know, but people we're only open on the weekends, but we're always here and the doors are always open, so there are people that will just stop by and check out what we're doing. It's fascinating to watch my brother Bruce wash kegs. I mean, you know, that's the pinnacle of a career in the craft beverage is cleaning kegs.
I'm sure.
And I
Yeah.
love the fact that you were an IT guy back in the corporate world.
Yeah.
And you are running the social media, so you're learning a complete new thing about computer world, right?
Yeah.
Running social media, and you're doing a great job at
Well,
it.
thanks.
By the way.
Much to many people's chagrin, it is me. They think I'm an 18-year-old girl because of my emoji use, my excellent emoji use.
Yes.
I don't use a lot of red hearts and dot my I's and
Right,
stuff with
right,
hearts, but
right.
I go full blown on the emojis. So,
Okay.
but it's it's not slick, it's not sophisticated copy. It's just what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, what's happening here. So.
But it
you know,
shows how
it's real.
It
It's
shows
real.
how
You know.
organic exactly
It
the
is,
whole thing
and
is.
that's the whole theme of this
Yes.
place is no pretenses. I'm just waiting for someone to come in with a tie on so I can cut it off and send them back out the door.
I love it.
I'll probably have to pay for the tie, but
It's okay.
it'll
It's
be
worth it. It's
Yeah.
well worth it. Well,
Yeah.
we're here to say congratulations because
Well,
we are
thanks.
so excited that we got to come back all this time later and see what your vision really was from that beginning
Yeah.
and just how many people. I mean, even just sitting here now, how many people come in?
Yeah.
And this is the thing to do on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
it. I'm so happy
Yeah.
for you. Before we ask the coveted question of the day, where does everybody find you? Social media, website, all that good stuff.
So it's long, but it's pretty simple. Like our handles on Facebook and Instagram are just at Tattiebogle CiderWorks, and then our website is www.tattiebogleciderworks, one word.com.
It's not cidery. It's not Ciderville. It's not
Cider
Cider
Works.
House.
No,
CiderWorks.
it's CiderWorks.
Anything John said, it's wrong.
Yeah.
Listen to Kurt. All right, Kurt, question of the day. When is the last time or the last event that you hand wrote a card?
Business card?
No, like a card.
A
like
greeting
a
card.
birthday card. Or
Oh, a
thank
greeting
you
card?
Or a note?
You know, we text
note?
and we email. Yeah, like
Oh,
you're even perplexed.
Monday.
Oh, okay.
There was a girl in here from Maine that wanted. We have little Tattiebogle stickers that are like our logo,
Yeah.
and we have red, green, and black. And she wanted some. She does a lot of hiking for her water bottles.
oh,
So she
you sent her-
decorates. So we were out. So they came in Monday afternoon. So I took and sent her 3 of those to. I think it was Litchfield, Maine. I don't know where
How
Litchfield,
about
Maine
that?
is.
Look
but
at you knowing about Maine now. Go ahead,
Yeah.
you do your thing.
Yeah. So
That's a really good answer.
That's
I'm
not
hoping.
the answer I
I'm
was
hoping.
thinking, yeah.
Hoping that she'll like post.
Tag you.
Tag me in
Right.
a post with it on her water bottle up in Maine.
Wow. Wow.
What a good one.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
a
I
good-
was
that's
thinking
a
you were going
good
to say, well,
question.
I guess it was a birthday card
Yeah.
for somebody, but that was
Right.
a really good story. I love
No,
it.
it's way better than a birthday
It's way
card.
better, no question. Kurt, thank you so much for having us back. We love it here. I'm enjoying the cider. What kind do you have?
Yeah, I have the champagne, which is a
It's
strawberry hard
champagne
seltzer.
here.
Champagne.
Champagne.
Yeah, Pag.
And
Yeah.
this is it, right here.
No,
This-
yours is the clear one. Seltzers are clear.
Okay.
And mine's, is it a raspberry?
Yours is actually strawberries, blueberries, red and black raspberry, and boysenberries.
I could taste the
I was going to call it the kitchen sink cider because it's got like every berry you can
It's a lot.
find.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Get here. Try the cider.
Yeah.
If you're not a cider person, you will love it. Thank
Right.
you so much, Kurt.
Thank you so much,
Well,
Kurt.
thanks for coming. I
Anytime.
feel honored to be on the #1 podcast.
Oh, you're so
in
cute.
Pittsburgh.
such a-
Thanks.
you
we
know.
try.
Well, we'll have to have you
I'm
on
not
our radio
worthy.
now
show
you can
next.
come on the radio show.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
We have
I
lots.
have a
we
I
need
have a-
history.
I have a face for radio and a voice for blogging.
We say the same thing. It's fine.
Yeah, but your emoji game is
But
top
my-
notch.
It is
up there.
strong.
It is up there.
Yeah.
All right, here is some music from Samantha.
It's perfect. That was
Thank you,
awesome.
Kurt.
Thank you, Kurt. Yeah. How do
That
you
was
want the ladies? Do you want?
We're
a
just going to
different-
move the sign.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move this up.
All right. Dude, I was drinking yours because I thought it looked like strawberry.
Oh, that's okay.
All right, we'll have you guys come on up. Thank you, Kurt.
Yeah, it was fun.
You're good, Kurt.
Specific order.
Okay, you guys can take those 2 seats.
However you girls want to sit. The seats are kind of deceiving because you think they're gonna be like odd, but
It does. It kind of
I'll take it. I'll take it.
So this is behind the scenes of the podcast as you're watching Saturday morning. This is what we do.
And we just found two ladies who had matching shirts on and thought they would be the perfect people to come talk. Oh, we didn't grab her microphone. Well, that's a louse move. See the things you see? Yeah. So, I mean, backstory, this is one of those like, oh, we have to have them on the podcast. You know, we always talk about how Tracy does a great job of keeping up with our bullpen. And then we go, oh my gosh, we have not had them. And then we were having fried chicken with Pittsburgh foodies. And we were like, oh my goodness, we need to bump them up. And here you are. So thank you for driving to the Laurel Highlands to be on the Jagoff podcast.
Thanks for having us. And you guys are from the North Hills.
We're from the North Hills.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
wondering how you found out about this place.
Well, that's a really good question. The tables just turned and we're being questioned, and I love it. We found out because John and Kurt worked together years and years ago. And through our social media, this Tattiebogle kept following us and like reposting things. And then we realized that it was him. And so we came up here, as you heard, a year and a half ago to kind of see it on just this desolate farm, right?
Yeah.
And you sort of saw these things that you figured out were whatever your containers. And that was it. Mm-hmm. And now look at it. And we've, like we said, we've had so many different musicians who have been on the podcast who say it is so worth it to come up here and perform. So that's how we knew, and we just continued.
Kurt was a vice president of IT at a company, and when he took his buyout, he used to make beer. He used to make all kind of fresh vegetables and all these kind of things, and this just became his thing. And the crazy thing is, he started emailing, and I'm like, wait. Are you Kurt that used to work at Allpack? And he's like, yeah, it's me, John. I'm like, oh my God. So this
Small
has
world.
been
Look at it pouring.
Oh, it just started to
You
rain.
can hear it. Oh my gosh.
It is
That's
pouring.
crazy.
How about that?
All right. So that's that story. That was a great question.
Thank you.
So now to you ladies, Pittsburgh Foodies, welcome. What is Pittsburgh Foodies and who are you two ladies?
Do you want to start or should I start?
You can start.
Okay. So Pittsburgh Foodies was created March 7th of 2020. Not because of the shutdown or the pandemic or anything like that. It was, Cindy had been telling me for a while, you need to start some kind of group or page. There's nothing currently like that in Pittsburgh. And in September of 2019, we took a trip to Chicago, a weekend trip. And we ate at 6 different pizza places in about a 30-hour time span.
Oh, wow.
And then flew back to Pittsburgh.
Just because?
Just because.
Okay.
Yes. So it was shortly after that Cindy really put the bug in my ear to create this group. And, I created it on March 7th, 2020. And a week later, the world shut down. And our group, it started with a lot of people baking bread because everybody started baking bread at the beginning of the shutdown.
Yeah.
Because we all thought it was going to be like 2 months long, right?
Yes.
Right.
Everyone wanted to learn how to bake and everything. So a lot of people were posting their recipes and, takeout orders and things like that. And then as things started to open back up, people were going back out to restaurants. So it's been through a lot of phases. It started with mostly home cooking, but now we do, people ask for restaurant recommendations a lot. Mm-hmm. And we're both teachers, so we encourage them to use the search feature in the group so that we don't have repetitive posts.
That's a great idea. And I was going to say, I don't know how you do it, but kudos to you because I don't see a lot of that repetition. Like, okay, scroll past because I've seen this before kind of thing. So before we move on to some of the content, Cindy, how do you know each other?
Well, we met as teachers at Trinity Area School District, and we shared a love of food. We both love to bake. We both love to go out to restaurants, but basically we have that foundation of our love of food.
Yeah, we just love food.
And that's really the premise for everybody who's on, right? Because I want to make it clear, and I don't think it was your original intention anyway, but it's not just for people who own restaurants or taverns, or it's everybody to kind of get in. Like I noticed there's a guy, like we have people, we go, oh, we know who that is. There's somebody on your site who always says, Tom Friday's Market has the best meats. And I'm like, is it Tom Friday's? And I love Tom, but it's not, I know. But it's somebody who's just so adamant about what they particularly like. And that's what I love about it, because you can feel that it's organic. Is that sort of the feel that you get?
That's exactly what our goal is.
Right.
Yes, that's the precise word that we've been using a lot lately. We want it to be very organic.
Yeah, it's very authentic. Go ahead, I'm sorry. I'm
No,
bogarting this
no,
again.
You're fine. No, you're fine. So
what's some of the coolest things that you've had people submit? Because you're really like, you think of user-generated content. That's always been the idea behind SEO and increasing. But you really have user-generated content. If people that are submitting things, like Rachel said. So, what's some of the more unique things, or even the standards that you've seen come through from some of your folks?
Well, sometimes people will post asking, where can I get such and such an ingredient? And a lot of times I don't even know what that is.
I'm proud of you for admitting that.
Oh, yeah. I don't claim to be an expert in food. I'm pretty well versed at this point, but there are so many more people in our group that are just so smart and so knowledgeable and, really take cooking and baking and food down to a science.
Sure.
I can't think of anything particular off the top of my head, but
Well, I'm glad you brought that part up, because what I also like is the fact that farmers markets are becoming so common, right? And sometimes it's almost like people are trying to get it into the conversation. Again, it comes naturally on your networking, because you see people saying like, hey, like they can't wait to come on and say, I was just at the Millville Farmers Market, or I was
Right.
just at the Bellevue Farmers Market. And they'll tell you, hey, if you're looking for XYZ, because let's face it, it's so odd how things happen, but you tend to be looking for the same things, right? Like when summer hits, you want watermelon because you can't have it in January. So I love the fact that people are sort of, it's not just you guys saying, you're learning as well. You're not just kind of saying, hey, here's how it is. You opened it for people to kind of converse, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
We're the facilitators.
You're the That's a great word, Cindy. Yeah, you're the facilitators. Yeah. So, what about any kind of controversy? Do you ever have to get into like a food battle? Like, hey guys, like let's stop this food battle.
Pizza.
Oh my gosh!
That is
and I
for
love that you
sure.
said it in unison. That is so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, why pizza?
I never knew how controversial pizza was until this group. Every time we have a pending pizza post, I kind of go, here we go again.
You're like, hide.
Yeah, like whether it's people asking, well, what's the best pizza in Pittsburgh, or posting, I just got pizza from such and such a place, this is the best pizza in Pittsburgh. We know that we're going to have to babysit the comments and
How about
watch it like a hawk.
That is so funny. Why do you think?
There's just so many different varieties,
Yeah.
and everybody has their favorite, whether it's a cold cheese, whether it's a thick crust pizza, and they're very passionate about their pizza.
The neighborhood
really
as
are.
well, right? The neighborhood where
Well,
you
that's
grew
it,
up,
yeah.
it's like there's nothing better than where I grew up.
Right.
and things
Correct.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a fisticuffs. Like, oh yeah, Lawrenceville.
Right.
And you're like, is there a pizza place?
And
obviously
I
there
think
is.
we can all get along with the pizza thing, because there's like, I like this pizza for this pizza for thick crust, thin
Right.
crust, sauce, sweet sauce, whatever, cheese, certain kind of cheeses. We can all just get along if we can eat 20 kinds of pizza 20 days in a row and still not hit all of the pizza places
such a
around.
truth,
The
yeah.
good pizza places even, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's a good point.
What about as far as just in general? Now you guys get to go out and judge. Like we met you at a judging contest, right?
You did,
and
yeah.
That was
we-
the first of its kind. I'm sorry to interrupt. Have you ever been to a fried chicken off before?
No, we haven't.
Right. Isn't that cool?
It was really cool.
Yeah.
We helped to judge a chili cook-off last year in Wheeling. We have friends who formed their own group in Wheeling, and they were doing a chili cook-off. So we did that. That was a lot of fun. The fried chicken cook-off was amazing.
Yeah.
The food was so good
was
from
so good.
everybody.
Yeah.
The chicken and the pizza and the sides and
Yeah. So, given the fact that you can't possibly be picky eaters, right?
Correct.
Or are you picky eaters
No.
and it's a danger zone?
I eat everything. I mean,
Really?
yeah, there are a couple things that I'm not too crazy about. Like, I'm not crazy about black olives, but if they're already on the pizza, I'll eat it. But
Okay.
that's pretty much it.
What about you, Cindy?
Just about everything but blue cheese and mushrooms.
They're my two faves. They're in my food group. Like, I put blue cheese on my mushrooms, to be honest. Dude, that's so funny. How crazy. What about, I find myself, even, I'm certainly no critic, but when I was younger, interesting you say mushrooms, I stayed so clear of mushrooms, not a fan. Never really liked red meat. So as I got older, I needed something to substitute that. So I went to mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you go, oh my gosh, this particular networking that I've created now allowed me to like this? You know, like I didn't like something before, but now that I've sort of read these comments or so-and-so sort of pushed me to that limit, anything that come to mind?
Not necessarily, but what I can say is that I'm more trying to be more focused on eating local
Sure,
foods.
yes.
You know, I realize the importance of that and just how plentiful it really is if you look for the right things. You know, things that can naturally grow in this part of the United States.
No question. Yeah. How about you, Cindy?
Well, I never really looked into plant-based food options before.
That's a great answer. Yeah.
And we have members, Katie and Jose Rosa, who
Yep.
have Everest Eats, and they do a wonderful job, and I order from them often, and sometimes you don't even realize it's plant-based food. It's
That would
so
be
good.
true. We've
So
done that.
true.
Yeah,
Yes.
we've done that.
Yeah.
Right. Now, let's get more controversy maybe, right?
Oh, boy.
Would you prefer to bake or cook? Or neither? You just like to
Both.
go out.
No, I love to cook and bake. I just don't like doing the dishes afterwards.
Because,
Good answer.
baking is more mathematical
Yeah.
and measured, where cooking is just that. Like,
yeah, it can be.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person who likes to follow directions.
Okay.
I'm a singer as well, so like reading the notes and the directions on the page, I've done that for my whole life. So
Okay.
I really like
You're
baking.
process driven. Yeah.
Yes, I like to follow the directions. But I don't really think I can say which one I like better. I enjoy both of
Okay.
them.
Okay,
Cindy, you
fair
have a
enough.
preference?
I actually prefer to bake. About 30 years ago, I had my own baking business, and I did cookies, pumpkin rolls, pies, even wedding cakes. So I enjoy doing that.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
did you notice that a lot of the people did this out of, like you said, and I have to point out again, this only started in 2020, and you have such a great following of people because it is an escape. And I think
Yes.
that it probably helped people that maybe your timing was more perfect than you thought because they had the time to kind of say, this is a release. And like we're joking about like the pizza and the, is there something that's off limits? But ultimately, food brings people together, right?
Absolutely.
So-
Everybody has to eat.
Yeah. So I think kudos to you because who knew it was going to grow that quickly and that well for the next 2 years?
Yeah, we really had no idea. We didn't set out with any type of specific goal.
Right.
It took us about a year to hit 5,000 members, and then another month we hit 10,000.
Right.
And then 2 or 3 months after that we hit 20,000. So it was just really
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
And we didn't do any kind of like advertising or anything special or out of the ordinary. Again, it was just organic.
Right.
But
No,
you
that's
guys
so great.
grew beyond the Pittsburgh area
right,
because you talked about your folks in Wheeling. So you're helping spur this as you go wider, right? Yeah, as far as, are there other sort of
Other
partners,
groups, yeah.
as you go north up into the Erie, Newcastle? Or how does that working? It's cool that you're spurring that.
There are a few smaller groups, but none with the numbers that we have.
Yeah.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
you're helping them. Like it's not like this is our property and we're doing this. You're helping like the folks in Wheeling that we met, right?
Right, we're great friends with them now.
Right.
And
Yeah.
we collaborate and we ask each other questions and we support each other. And in fact, they invited us back to the chili cook-off again in
great.
June this year. So yeah, it's great how we do support each other.
That is
Yeah.
true. Yeah, for sure. What is the kind of what's the hottest topic that you've seen? Like, okay, you talked about pizza kind of being that thing that it surfaces and you go, who didn't know this was going to cause controversy? What's that one that's like, here this comes again, but sort of in a different way? Is there something trending per se?
I mean, it's not very exciting, but a lot of people ask about places where they can have maybe 20 people for lunch, like a corporate lunch or corporate dinner, something
Okay.
like that, or anniversary party. And then a lot of people ask for brunch.
I noticed that,
Yes.
yeah. And not even just your site, but in general, I think restaurants are realizing that people want a place for brunch.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so true.
Pittsburgh seems like a brunch town
We're
more
getting
so
there.
than
Yeah.
others.
Yeah,
That's-
I agree.
And
I
drinking
agree.
brunches.
And drinking
Yeah,
brunches.
they ask for bottomless mimosas in most of the
Well, send them
brunch
to-
requests.
Send them here, Tattiebogle. You need cider instead.
Right.
So what else is happening? Are you guys doing anything this summer other than the chili cook-off that we need to know about? Anything we can promo that's coming up?
Well, we are planning another picnic this year in September, so we'll get more details about that as we
Okay.
get closer.
Okay, perfect. Awesome.
Nice.
Anything you can think of? Good.
As far as our food group, well, I have a page on Instagram too.
Yep.
It's Fork12, FORKONETWO, all spelled out.
Yep.
And I can't take credit for my name. One of our members, I put a poll up, probably 2 years ago at this point.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Get
what
out.
what should my Instagram handle be? And
That's
my
cute.
friend that we went to the same high school together, didn't graduate together, but her name is Kelly Cable. So shout out to Kelly for help with my Instagram handle.
I love it.
That's funny.
And I recently became a freelance food writer with very local Pittsburgh.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
That's
so
cool.
cool. Yeah.
Nice.
And they're doing great things too. I love seeing all the different media that Pittsburgh is kind of, and especially because of the food. Who would have known that we would become a foodie town?
Right.
It's amazing. Yeah, I love it. All right.
So ultimately, where does everybody find you all? Where is your group? Facebook, website, all that stuff. Instagram.
Well, our Facebook group is Pittsburgh Foodies.
we didn't really just pick them out, I promise.
And yeah, that my Instagram as well. And we did have Cindy printed out some new business cards that we're going to start leaving with local businesses and things like that. It has a QR code on it.
Follow. That's
yeah,
great.
but
That's
it's
awesome.
Yeah, it's so make sure you follow the group and not the page.
Yes.
The Pittsburgh Foodies.
Got
group,
it.
not
And
page.
again, make sure you realize it runs the gamut of different things, all things foodies. And it's
Oh, yeah.
And I love that you said, it really started with recipes and sort of like, hey, you didn't know it was going to be a pandemic, but what are things that you're doing? And you said jokingly, baking bread, or do you like baking more? And it's also all the way up to, hey, I'm in town, what restaurant should I go to for ...
Yeah,
right?
and-
So it's everything.
Yeah, and every once in a while, people will say something like, "Oh, I'm not sure if it's okay to post in a foodies group."
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm like, "No, it's not like
Right,
that.
right.
We want to see everything, whether it's grilling hamburgers and hot dogs
Yeah.
or going to a 5-star restaurant."
You know what's funny is, and I do see, as you know, I see things more regularly, but day before yesterday, Friday maybe, it came up in my feed, and it was our Wahlburgers, but it was not the new one. It's the pierogi burger. People were talking about that, and I was like, look at that, and they're our
Yep.
clients, so it was kind of cool
Wow.
to see. Yeah, I was like, how about that? Made
Right,
me
how about
happy.
that?
We need to put a Jagoff, like what not to eat. We'll go on and do that. They'll be hating us. No, ladies, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for
Question
having
of the
us.
day. I don't know if you heard it. It's always
I
a thread
didn't.
question. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. So, when was the last time, or what was the last time, that you wrote a card to someone? Was it a birthday card? Was it a thank you card? Because we're noticing people are not writing anymore. Everything's texting and emailing. And any time recently that you've written a card?
Yes, I wrote a card on Thursday because Cindy's birthday was on Monday.
Look
so
at that.
I wrote her a birthday card.
That is awesome.
How about
I
that?
love it. See, this is easier than I thought, because even Kurt was like, yeah, somebody was in here and they needed a sticker and I mailed it to them. I'm like, this is great. Even though the price of stamps are going up, Mrs. Chamberlain, it's okay. People are still writing cards. How about you, Cindy?
The last card was a sympathy card.
Okay.
I hate
Cindy,
to
you
end
just
on that
brought us
note,
all
but
down.
I'm sorry. That's the truth.
You're like, thanks for bringing it up, Rachel.
Yeah, she was truthful, though. Yeah, she was truthful. Thank you so much.
Thank
You'll
you
have
guys
to come
so
on again.
much
We
for
certainly
coming.
guys,
appreciate
for
it.
And
sure.
hopefully
Thank
you're
you so
enjoying the
much.
Tattiebogle cider here, right?
Yes.
It's a cool place,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different.
I'm
Stumble
excited
upon
to
it.
try
Nice.
Leave your
everything.
business
All
and
right.
card. Don't
The
forget.
food truck.
We will
yes.
do that.
Awesome. All right, next up.
Next up, Samantha.
Perfect. Thanks, ladies. Thank you. And I'm sorry I was like in your face with the picture, but we're short one of our people, so Colin's getting video. Oh, that's yeah. We're like double dipping. Awesome. And then we'll tag you. Tracy will tag you guys when it's out, so that you know it's out. But she'll send you the link via email also. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Anytime. Stay in touch. For sure. Ready, Samantha? All right.
Thank you, Colin. Colin's on prop duty.
Colin.
For his Price is Right.
He was at Sandcastle yesterday. Sam, sit down. Do we call you Sam or Samantha?
Absolutely. You can call me whatever you want. Sam,
Well,
Sammy,
okay.
if
Sam.
she's not the cutest thing you've ever seen, right?
And
She's like my daughter. I was pulling hair out of your face, trying.
Oh, this gets
I mommed
wild.
you. No,
It
it's
gets
gorge.
wild.
It's
Thank
gorge.
you, thank you.
So, truth be told, Tracy, this is how the process works. Tracy finds great musicians. She sends them our way. We're super lucky because often people will email and say, hey, can I be on? That kind of thing. She told us about you, and we were like, oh, Central PA. So I sort of just looked through, listened to you, and was completely smitten. I'm not kidding. How old are you?
I'm 23.
God, love you.
What?
That voice is amazing. How long have you been doing this?
Oh gosh, I started voice lessons when I was in 4th grade. Luckily, I have a parent that saw that I loved music, and she, this lady reached out to her and she was like, "Yeah, let's go ahead and let's get you into some voice lessons if you're into it." And so I took it and ran with it basically, and I always did choruses and stuff in high school. I was in everything I could be with music. So it's
But in
just
4th grade, how did you know? Were you just singing around the house?
I was singing everything I could. I was making songs up. I was, just kind of always being myself.
Yeah.
So it's just as true as my name is Sam.
So then, did you start singing in churches or just singing around, or did you just kind of pick up a guitar as a kid and start just kind of? I mean, you're young enough that you could have learned it on the internet. We're older, it wouldn't have been that, but you're young enough that you could have. Is that kind of how the rest of it progressed with your voice lessons? Did you take guitar lessons as well, or did that just kind of fold into the mix?
So I always started with voice lessons, and everything that I've done has been in an ear type of learning.
Okay.
So everything that I do, I hear a note and I do it, or it's all by ear. So I played piano and I played the flute growing up as well, and I always focused on voice, and I always really just enjoyed mimicking sounds with my voice. So then coming into who I am now with my guitar and everything, I took a month of guitar lessons, quit, and I was like, this guitar, I don't know if it's for me. And my mother actually has a Martin, a Dreadnought at home that, she was like, "Why don't you learn to play this? I'm not playing it. The guitar would really be wonderful for you. I think you'd love it. You should do it." So then I quit. I was like, "No, I don't know. It's hurting my fingers, whatever." A month later, I decided to just pick it back up and go outside of my teacher and do it on my own. And I really flourished. And it was truly just something that came from passion and, hearing things and wanting to make music. Just
Sticking
truly.
with it.
Yeah.
So how many instruments do you play now?
Just those 3.
Oh, just
I've
3.
never.
Just those 3.
I mean, seriously.
I play 0. Right.
It really doesn't. It's almost like learning another language.
Sure.
The love languages. It's the same basic concept.
Yeah,
You grab
no,
one.
that's- What I love is, so often our parents, with good intention, want us to be well-rounded, right? And so if you play a sport or you have an activity or whatever's your thing, they're like, "Well, how about some music? Are you musically inclined?" With you, it's sort of the opposite. You were reaching out and saying, "These are the things I want to learn." So that shows true passion,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. And
Yeah.
the funny thing is, I've always been a talker.
Yeah,
I used
I
to
can
wear.
tell.
I know. I used to wear a little princess tiara. We had this family.
I see it over there,
friend.
yeah.
I know, right? I wear it everywhere still. It's actually in my mom's cedar chest still. We do have the
how
tiara,
cute.
but I wouldn't take it off. I would click around in my little princess heels, my plastics, until my feet grew out of them. And I was always
cute.
just a big ham.
Well,
and I
that's-
think that truly it comes from the mix of loving music and being a ham. And, my mom was always trying to get me out. She's a business owner. She
Okay.
was always trying to get me out and allow me to talk to people and allow me to interact. And, I think she got me.
Yeah.
This is the
So
consequence.
your parents, are they musicians at all? Musicians, singers?
No, my dad loves music, and my mom always sang to me, and she hummed a lot whenever I was a kid. And just growing up, I was surrounded by 80s rock and, a little bit of John Denver, a little bit of Pink Floyd, a little bit of this, just everything. And then from Mom, I'd get the countryside. So she was always, my Shania, my Gretchen Wilson, my, Willie, you name them.
Yeah.
But so it's funny, I've kind of become eclectic just
Yes.
because my parents are such opposites.
What you heard.
Yeah, what I heard.
That's
yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
Now, where do you live in Central PA? Are you still living in Central PA?
Yes,
Where?
yes. I have an apartment in Bedford, PA. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
where I'm located, and it's nice that I'm like halfway between Pittsburgh and Harrisburg, closer
Yes.
to Pittsburgh.
Yes.
So I can pretty much
That's really
go.
smart, because if we lived in Harrisburg, guess what she would have said? Closer to Harrisburg. That was really smart.
Yeah. No, I frequent Pittsburgh. I was
Okay.
just at the Millvale Music Festival. And
Yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm playing Deutschtown later in June.
Yeah,
I think the end
July.
of June. July.
Yes.
Okay, excuse me.
I'm
But-
so excited. We'll be there also.
Oh, awesome. Well, then I'll hope to
Yeah,
run into
we will
you.
100% make sure of that. I love your voice. It almost reminds me, do you remember Edie Brickell and the
do.
New Bohemians? That's what she reminds me of. It's this like, I don't want to pigeonhole you folky, because you're not folky. You have such a range that really is, it's inspiring. It's great. Yeah, I
Thank
love
you
hearing
so
you.
much.
Yeah, for
Thank
sure.
you.
So what types of things do you do outside of, do you have another job, or is it all music?
I do have another job, but it plays in well with my my musical pursuits, I guess I should say. I graduated from West Virginia University in 2020 during the heat of, the fallout, and so I came out with a marketing degree, and it's actually I emphasized in social media and digital marketing and stuff. So it's really fared well with my secondary pursuit being so, integral with needing marketing and stuff. So, I do marketing by day, and everything that I do as far as I've built my own website. So everything that you see is fully from my own laptop, and
So you can learn guitar.
I couldn't. No, I couldn't. I couldn't learn guitar. I don't know what it is, but my son has learned how to just play it by watching YouTube. And thought of you as well. But so, would you prefer to play yourself in a venue like the Tattiebogle here, or would you prefer to sort of be leading a band? Can I have a band behind you? Or do you just like the difference of it? Like sort of the pizza conversation we just had. Some people like hard crust, soft crust, thin crust, thick crust. Do you like a little bit of both?
I do. I really think that I'm non-denominational that way. If I had a band that wanted to play with me, or that, I got together and we were going to go out and rock a place, we'd rock it, but I can rock it all the same myself. So it's all about carrying that energy, and I just think, my energy fares well with either. But that's probably an ear thing too. I feel like most people, when you play with a band, there's so many moving parts that you have to know what you're doing separate from the band, but also you have to be together with that band.
Sure.
And coming up, doing all the choral things that I did, doing the flute, I've been just always with other people. This is really the first endeavor that I've taken on my own and not had, other people around me backing me up or singing with me or playing with me. I'm never opposed to a band. I don't have one right now, but in the future, that's, a lot of the acoustic songs that I do are basically unfinished because they don't have that band finishing them. No bass, no drums, no nothing.
Stick with the same theme of working with somebody. Do you prefer to write by yourself? Do you prefer to write with others?
I can write with others. I've never written with others. I feel like usually whenever writing strikes me, it's such a... I described it to my mother the other day as like chasing a feather. It feels like you don't want to crush it. You don't want to try to grab it and then, let it outrun you. You just want to kind of softly predict it and let it land.
I'm stealing that.
I think you just wrote the first verse of your next song.
Listen,
Chasing a Feather.
I'm gonna tell my kids
Chasing
that.
a Feather, dedicated to your Jagoff podcast.
All right.
No, but it applies to so much in life. I love it.
Yeah.
Wow, look at you teaching lessons.
You're smart.
You are smart.
Shucks,
Yeah, good
thanks.
to
And
you.
your positive energy is so crazy good.
Yeah.
Now it's getting crazy in here at the Tattiebogle CiderWorks. And
I thought you were gonna say,
so where does everybody find you online? Because while we have a nice crowd here, it would be pretty awesome if you could sing them a song, right?
Absolutely, yeah. You can find me online on Facebook. It's Samantha Press Music. You can find me on Instagram at Singin' Sam, SINGINSAM. And then my website, which I built myself. My website, which I've worked hard on, is sipnsing.com. So SIPNSING.com. And that's linked up on all my socials and everything. So, you can skin a cat multiple ways. But yeah.
Look at these isms from Sam.
Right.
They're Sam-isms. All right, grab your guitar.
Go ahead,
do
question of the day.
Oh, question of the day. I forgot. Hold on.
What is it? Okay.
All right. So you're young. Do you even write cards anymore? Like, did you write a Christmas card?
Yes,
You
I am
do.
such a card writer.
Okay, I love this.
Yes.
This was a good question. Okay. What was the last thing you wrote?
Oh gosh, probably my sister recently had a baby.
Okay.
So I wrote her a little Mother's Day
Look
card.
at that. I love it. It completely put the kibosh to my thoughts. I thought everybody was going to say like, "Oh, I don't write cards
Yeah, it's been
anymore."
years, right,
Yeah, right.
right.
But everyone had like a very recent experience, so that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Awesome. All right, now you can get your
All right.
guitar.
All right.
So you get
We'll
your
say our
guitar. We'll
thank
list
yous.
our thank yous. So
All right.
once again, thank you to Kurt Henry and his brothers, his partners, his brother,
All
and
of the
Laura
peeps
for
involved,
having
yeah.
us here at the Tattiebogle CiderWorks out in Acme, PA. Take the Donegal exit and you're 10 minutes away from it. You cannot miss it.
Cannot miss it. Thanks to Tracy for obviously putting everything together. Thanks to Colin for obviously making everything gel as perfectly as he does. Thanks to Pittsburgh Foodies, Cindy and Ashley. That was a great conversation to hear about how something so small became such a huge thing, right? I love it.
course, thanks to Samantha. And as Samantha gets ready, we say thank you to Rorik.com, right?
Yep, the words, the make, the model, the fuel type, the features, and more have a lot in common. They are all a la carte selections that help customers choose HRVs, CRVs, Odysseys, and more on our RorikHonda.com website, which helps customize your future purchase. Stop by the Bloomfield location to talk to a representative so Rorik can welcome you to the family. As always, visit Rorik.com for all of your vehicle needs. And let's finish off the Memorial Day weekend with Samantha.
She's so poised. I love it. I love it.
That's the word.
All right. Let's see here.
Do you need me?
Yeah, she likes to go to that side.
All right, this one's called Happy Thoughts. Watching you whistle in the morning, but my burden hand on flew away, and God, what I wouldn't do or say again to watch you again. Ooh, baby, talk it up to knocking it down. I don't give a damn who else is beside me. Where these roots remain, I'll find my soul is sound. My heart, my heart, my heart, my heart. Ooh, baby, talk it up to knocking it down. You know I don't give a damn who else is beside me. Where these roots remain, I'll find that sweet soft solid ground. My heart is warmer since you reached out, and this happiness was tailor-made, hard-earned, and you know it was built by you and me.
Oh boy. I mean,
go.
that's it, you guys. Follow her.
Have a-
Bye.
Have a good Memorial Day weekend.